And there we are. Hey, what's up? How's it going, Souza? Welcome to the SomEThing podcast. We're here. You're
So
on the other side
good.
of the world, but we figured it out. I think good morning, I think, right?
Good morning. Yes, good morning to you. Good evening to you, sir.
It is, yeah, it is 4 p.m. here in the best time zone in the mountain time zone. And you're what is like 7 a.m. there or something
No, it's 9.
ridiculous?
You know what? Australia is the hardest time zone. Kudos to anyone who lives in Australia and works at a global team because it's like nothing's happening during the day. And then as soon as it's like, oh, dinner with my family. Then it's like everyone's blowing you up. It's like so wild. So
we,
yeah.
we forgot. In a way, we're still sending our prisoners to Australia, I guess you could
Am
say.
I?
You're prisoners of time zones.
Oh, okay. I like that analogy. I like
Okay.
that.
Well, we're here for yet another SomEthing podcast, and we've got another awesome guest coming up, and we'll also run through the Linear Hub and what's going on. Give me a quick preview of who we're going to be talking to first, though.
Rebecca Barkin. She is a amazing co-founder of a product called Lamina1, and well, I say the company's called Lamina1, and they're aiming to disrupt the creator space. So they're coming out with something called Spaces, which is kind of like I always think MySpace because I don't know, millennial, but it's a combination of like gaming and like chatting and NFTs and fan art and all of these things in one sort of space. So it's a very cool, as a creator, you can create your own space and then invite people to that space. And then you guys can all like do things in the community together. So it's very cool. I feel like I just literally gave you the whole explanation. But
No, I mean,
yeah.
you left out I think you left out the big thing, which is that it's a
Would
Neil
you want to know?
Stevenson
We're
joint,
not going to
right?
talk about
Eh,
that. Yeah, yeah, let's not talk
Okay,
about that
okay,
yet.
all
Save it
right,
for the
all
end.
right,
Save it for
okay, all
Rebecca.
right,
Yeah,
okay, all
she's a
right,
great founder,
cool.
though. She's like dynamite. Love her. So I'm
All right,
excited to have her
big
on.
big stuff. This is yeah, super exciting. A lot of I'm very excited about it. A lot of exciting. It's just exciting. It's all. It's the only adjective I have apparently. But we'll get to that. Um, First, let's take a quick spin through what's going on in the Linea ecosystem and community. First up, you may have seen if you're following the Twitters and the X's and the threads and the posts that the turtle checker is live. So just want
Yes.
to make note of that. You can go and check your airdrop eligibility, and that's about all we can say about it. But just check it out, and that is very exciting. We'll be hearing more about that in the weeks to come, I'm very sure.
Yes.
And
Do you
also,
know anything? Do you know much
yeah,
about the Turtle team?
I don't know. No, I leave it to you.
They're like props to the Turtle team. I just want to give a shout out. They've been around on Linea since like the very beginning, since the Marco days. They've been here, and they have been involved in lots of DeFi activations. They're now involved in the Linea Ignition program. So if you want to use their vaults or other DeFi actions, go to the Brevis Ignition page and check that out to see what Turtle activations you can use to get some more Linea tokens.
Yeah, I do think of them as a kind of a Linea OG that's been around for a
Yeah,
while,
in
like you said,
DeFi.
and I hadn't heard of them before joining the Linea team, but yeah, they seem deeply intertwined in a lot of things DeFi, like you said. So head on over and check your airdrop eligibility, and let's see. Oh, also, this is DAS. The We had a big event over at in London. This was a super bummer because I missed this by 5 hours. I was in London all weekend long. My flight left
What?
at yeah, I was over there for an NFL football game, and but had already booked a flight to leave like hours before this happened. So I missed this, but it was huge fun. Builder nights and digital asset summit, and we held builder nights, and Joseph Shalom from SharpLink Gaming was there, and of course, all of our team was there as well. So super FOMO. I almost could have been there, but alas, was not. So that you missed that. You can find more about that on SharpLink and Linea feeds. And what else do we have going on here? We had that. And oh, Linea Ignition, I think, is what we wanted to talk about. Uh, It is still going. We're in the middle of another week right now. We just mentioned it there with Turtle, which is one of the vaults that you can ape into and get some pretty amazing extra incentives through the Linear Ignition program. All kinds of pools on EtherX that'll get you extra bonus yield, Aave pools, Euler pools, all kinds of good stuff. So you can check that out. And again, you can always find the entrance to that at the Linea hub right here. It's actually in the events section of the Linea hub. It took me a second to
Yes.
find it, but that's a special event, Linea Ignition, and you can always see all the other things that are going on. Let's take a quick tour before we get to Rebecca of other things happening at the Linea hub. Obviously, airdrop. If you're one of the few, we know over 90% of eligible addresses have claimed their airdrop already. But if you're one of the few dawdlers, remember there is a deadline on that, which I believe we must be almost halfway through that. I think it was a 90
Yeah.
day window, and we got to be about halfway through that,
What are those other 10% doing? They're just like, ah,
right?
you know,
Yeah, I
I
know.
want those
You're
tokens.
you're missing out. You're missing out. Well, they'll. I think they. I don't actually know for sure what happens to those tokens. I'm pretty sure they end up in the ecosystem fund. But
Maybe.
yeah, you're going to want to jump on those. Let's see other things trending now. Obviously, Lamina1. We be getting to that. We talked about Maple last week. You can check out the last week's SomEThing podcast for that. Let's take a quick look into most swap tokens here, if we can get that to load. So this is kind of interesting. Um, Most swapped, this is pretty close to what it was last week, but a very indicative, I think, of what's going on with Linea Ignition. It's kind of funny to look at. We've got actually this has actually changed since I looked at this earlier. We had the Rex and Rex 33 token up here earlier, but it looks like Wrapped Bitcoin has jumped up there. Um, I believe all of these tokens are part of pools or vaults that you'll get that are part of the Linea Ignition program. So perhaps not too shocking that we've got that going on here. A couple other things I wanted to take a look at. Myriad prediction markets. Again, you can find a few of the top ones here on the hub. Let's just click through, take a look at a couple of these. ETH to hit 5K. We talked about this last week. Um, Things are looking a little more bearish. Some of these have
Yeah.
gone downhill. What do you think about that?
It's just like hitting that 100K for Bitcoin. Remember, it was always like, it's almost there, and then it'd go back down, and then it's like almost there, and then it would go back down. Do you remember
Right.
that? It was like such a tease for so long. I feel like that's Ethereum. It's like, we're almost at 5K. And then it goes back down to like 3,800. So it's just like, let's continue riding the roller coaster.
And I
So I
think,
don't know if
I'm
it's
sure
going to hit
it's,
5,000. I'm not feeling optimistic.
I mean, I'm still bullish, and here's why. A lot of the bearishness, I think, obviously comes from the big liquidation event that we had last Friday or Saturday, depending on where you are. But look, that liquidation event was bigger than FTX or just about anything, and yet it's a relatively, it's been a relatively minor hit, and this is actually still at 51% people think it is going to hit.
I
So
like that.
if we still think we're in a bull market after the biggest liquidation in crypto history, more or less, like that's actually bullish. So anyway, not not investment or prediction market betting
Not
advice, but
investment advice.
something to something to consider. I was also taking a look at this one earlier, which is the Russia Ukraine ceasefire, and I was looking at this, and here we can kind of see the trajectory that it's taken. And I was looking at this because um, right in here in the last couple of days is we had the ceasefire in Gaza happen, and so
Oh, yeah.
I would think that you figure, oh, we got one ceasefire, the international community got
All right.
one
All right, let's
ceasefire,
go for our next
like
one.
yeah, like maybe that
Just wrap
that
this up.
says yeah, but it actually went the other direction. So I don't know. That's interesting, and this is this is why these prediction markets are so interesting. And aside from trying to make a little money, it's an interesting way to look at what's actually going on in the world. So I don't know.
Public opinion.
These
Court of public opinion is always interesting.
exactly. I mean, there's all kinds of research that says crowdsourcing opinion is actually a pretty good way to figure things out. So um, be sure to spend some time over there at Myriad and make your opinion known. And I think that's about all we've got for our breakdown of the Linea Hub today. So maybe it's about time that we bring in
Yes.
Rebecca.
Yes. And I have a video that we could play. So I met Rebecca in real life. Always get to meet someone in person that you've had calls with. And she was a moderator for a panel at the event called Hack Season during Token 2049, where she got to interview the one and only sugar daddy of Linea, Joe Lubin, and also Neil Stevenson. And you guys are like, I think I've heard Neil Stevenson's voice sounds familiar. Well, you should hear from Neil Stevenson. He is one of like the prolific sci-fi writers of our time. Not only that, Joe Lubin's, I think, favorite book still. It's like recommended reading for consensus employees is Snow Crash, which was the first time anyone had used the word metaverse. So like Neil Stevenson basically coined the word metaverse, and here we are today.
Literally.
He's like the Nostradamus of like technology. Like he writes stories and then like these things come true. So she got to interview him during a panel at Hack Seasons at Token 2049, and I was there and it was really great to see. So I don't know if we want to play a little video clip before we bring her on.
We did just launch a partnership.
Here we go.
Lamina1, for those of you who don't know, in 2022, we founded Lamina1 to provide an interactive media platform, one that was owned by the storytellers and the fans that actually make the internet a really interesting place to be.
Yes, let's bring on Rebecca Barkin.
Hey, Rebecca. Welcome.
Hey.
Thanks
so much
for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, we're obviously very excited about Lamina1. We're so honored, yes, that you're bringing it over from Avalanche. Sorry, Avalanche. Tell us like a quick. I already gave a quick intro about Lamina1. Maybe
Yeah.
you could give like a better intro of Lamina1 than I did.
Yeah, no, you did a fine job.
Oh, I'm not looking for pats on the back. I just
I
want
mean,
you to
first
give
of all-
a better example.
I think, first of all, I just want to say, like, this feels like kind of long overdue. We're so excited as a team about kind of joining this super stellar, like massive community. And today is obviously a very exciting day because Artifact, which is the original IP we've developed with Neil and Weta, our landing page is up for people who are excited about learning about our IP. But Lamina1, you kind of covered it as a direct to consumer model multimedia platform, and it's built on blockchain infrastructure. We like to say, like, imagine if you married, YouTube and Reddit or whatever fandom site that you love. But it wasn't owned by a tech giant and then kind of bastardized by an ad algorithm. So we wanted this kind of pure connection. Like, it's gotten so fragmented out there. We really wanted this pure connection between IP holders and their universes and then the fans who really actively participate in them. And one other thing that we feel really passionately about, and this is something Neil and I have been carrying the torch for now for the 3 years that we've been doing this, is the creators get to retain ownership of their IP. And I think across the entertainment industry, everybody's talking about how this is the most kind of, this is the biggest development and kind of the thing to be most aware of in the coming years for creators. And they get to have that ownership, but they also get to have this kind of direct collaboration with their community of fans. And often they don't have that data, like that's owned by the platform that they choose to publish on. So we see this world where fans become, really active participants in story worlds, and they accumulate status and rewards for that kind of high quality engagement and gameplay and co-creation. So that's what Lamina1 is, and Spaces is going to be kind of our flagship premium product, which we're also rolling out in Spaces. I did.
She did not freeze. Nope.
You froze.
Eric Rose. It was you, Eric. That's
Sorry.
so amazing. So yeah, and I know there's going to be options for it to be token gated or not token gated, and I honestly like have loved this because I'm on Discord. No shade to Discord, but it's not my favorite place to be because I feel like it's just like this chat where what you're putting together is like it's like an all in one, you know? And that's what
Yeah,
everyone's been waiting for so long.
yeah, I think so. I mean, we've been talking to creators. I mean, I've been in the entertainment industry and working with creators at this kind of edge of emerging tech for a really long time, but like in a very focused way for the last few years, we've been talking to creators about the problems that they face. And I think that that challenge of having to constantly learn new platforms and only be able to have like video on this site and short form on
Yeah.
this site and like a blog on this site, and then you're pushing everybody out from that to Discord or to fan community somewhere else, was a real pain point because like they want to make great stories. Like they're exhausted by the amount of technology that they have to participate in. And then what do they really get back from it, right? Like shitty economics, and then they don't own their fan data. So it was sort of high time for a change. Like we just felt like in exchange for distribution and scale, creators have just relinquished those rights and control of their IP, their fans, their financial upside to whoever was willing to kind of fund or platform them, right? And often those people have very, very misaligned incentives. Like those tech platforms have very misaligned incentives. Like their goal is to get you and keep you in a hardware or software buying cycle or an ad algorithm cycle. And that doesn't really lead to great content. Like I think we're kind of seeing people get really burned out from that. And it also makes for like a real fragmentation of rights and rewards and like content availability, even for fans who are like looking for it and want to be seen by the franchise they've invested tons and tons and tons of money and time into. So we saw that coming up, and there really was a lot of creators are being forced to engage in a multimedia way, but there's no platform that they have a stake in, like a real stake in. And you sell your rights, that's great. Congratulations. I mean, we think that's amazing. You get traditional distribution, but you don't get a stake in Netflix. You don't get a stake in YouTube. And what blockchain has really been able to offer, and crypto's been able to offer, is to be able to give those fans and creators the ability to really own a piece of the platform that they're helping to make so successful.
Damn. Yes. Yes to all of this, right? I also think like two things that I think about this is like you're talking about like the quality of the content. Like I feel like the opportunity for spaces is if you are like a huge Neil Stephenson fan and he's releasing a game and he's releasing like chapters of a book, and then you're writing fan art and like drawing fan images, right? Like you can go like 50 layers deep, where I feel like now it's like someone making a stupid video, scroll, 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 and that's like you're fighting for like 2 seconds of attention. So I love the idea of grabbing
I mean,
onto it.
we said this when we announced it, like, and I think that this has been some of the challenge with, like, I think Web3 sees the possibility of this, but we haven't really found the right the right way to do it yet. And sometimes that has to do with premature kind of financialization of an IP, which is really tough. So what we're trying to do is provide this kind of narrative scaffolding, is what I call it, where you have really experienced high quality storytellers like titans of the industry, like Neil and like Weta, who provide the guardrails and make it an interesting world to continue to collaborate and build in. But you have kind of this right combination of individual moments of gameplay and interaction, and then kind of collaborative community forensic type of exploration. And it doesn't, like, a lot of the fears of the creators are that they're going to compromise their brand quality by engaging in Web3. And I think that's really sad. So
it is sad.
And they're not totally wrong. Like we've made some we need to show some respect for that creative process, right? And what makes for a really valuable franchise that then holds NFT value and holds token value. And that's not a short-term thing. It takes a long time to build those things, but no one's ever really done it in this way before, directly with a community, not of his caliber that I can kind of think of. So it's been super, super fun. And basically Artifact is the blueprint for what Spaces is capable of for those IP holders.
Yeah, this use case is what got me so excited about Web3, specifically the exact kind of thing you're talking about, but for journalism in my case. And the problem with some of those early experiments, I think in Web3 journalism, is also what you're talking about. Like it didn't really have the caliber of people buying into the Web3 of it all in the system to really make it float. So like very, very excited that Neil is on board and Joe is on board. Yeah, I want to hear more about Artifact.
Yeah, sure. Are we ready? Do we want to talk about Artifact now? Are we ready to go into it? All right.
We can go into it.
Unless I cut off something you want to ask.
Before we move into Artifact, the last thing I'll say is for blockchain, I've gotten in arguments like on the playground. Actually, I got in an argument on the playground, but not with a child, but with a parent who was like, "What really is crypto for?" And I was trying to explain it to him, like, you're like a white male in Australia. Like, you don't have the same problems as anyone else in the world. But this, like, crypto's not for you. Like, crypto's for people who are like bankless and la la la. And then I think about this and I'm like, no, this is what crypto's for. Like, crypto doesn't have to be, blockchain doesn't have to be about like DeFi everything. And that's why I think this is like such a good use case.
Well, I think you have other areas like DeFi is great and it plays a role in this, right? Like for sure. The financing side of the entertainment model is how we get into this situation. And it's also why half of Hollywood is out of work right now. And so people are open to alternative paths to financing. And that was kind of why we moved away from the metaverse side of things, because we needed to move towards where there was a knowledge of a real problem. And, I go to Venice Film Festival every year. I'm on the financing and production board there. And I talk to creators every year. And every year that we go, I've tried to bring up blockchain for the last 4 years. And it's always like met with so much like anxiety.
No, Rebecca, you're the guy who like corners people at a party to talk about blockchain. You're like, no, hear me out. They're like, I don't want to hear about Bitcoin, I
had to like really find like the right approach. And so it was a lot of like, I meet with these creators, I hear what their struggles are. And a lot of it is around financing. It's this constant trade-off of, I really want to make this thing. And there's only a few people that I know that are willing to fund it in this kind of amount. I don't know how to do all the other shit. I don't know how to do that. But they want so much from me to do that. Like I lose all control of the thing I want to make in order to get it financed. And so I do think that DeFi aspect and the financing part and how you return, how you give fans and this kind of combination of whether it's private and public investment, the ability to participate in the development and the launch of an IP, and then be able to have, kind of reward from that on an ongoing basis is really exciting. Like, I think it's kind of the future of it. So, I think that's when you say this is something crypto really can do, like we really worked it to figure out like, what is the right way to present this to people we really respect, who we really want to try this, who are scared of it based on its stigma. And that was one of the ways in, was it just happened timing wise to work that, not that I would take pleasure in anybody being out of work, but that Hollywood knew they had a problem. Animation had it was a hellscape of a problem. So we knew we could slide in there.
Slide in, solve some problems.
Yeah.
Do you, I like have so many questions of the finance aspect, maybe not on this live stream, but do you have an article or like a blog coming out in the future where people can understand, like if they're a creator, like what is the financing aspect of it? You're talking about like getting rewards and things like that.
It's a really good question. And the meeting that I just came from, because I'm not at home, I just came from a meeting and I'm at somebody's office, but this was kind of the main question is like, how do I even begin to wrap my head around whether, an ICO or combination Reg D, Reg CF financing, or like, how do I think about that? And then how much work am I expected to take on as a creator or an IP holder, and then feeding this like beast all the time, right? So part of our role and is really to like get those great creators on the door who provide a signal to the whole industry and a bit of a blueprint and show them how to do it. And that's a bit of hand holding, and we're okay with that. And so I think that was the vast majority of the questions today were like, but how do
Like,
I
how?
pull in? What's the allocation? How should I think about it? So I think
Yeah.
we probably should write something up.
You
It's a good
should. Yeah,
question.
yeah, that'd be helpful. All right, let's get into Artifact
Yeah.
because this is the juicy bits. I mean, the platform is so exciting. I think creators should be really excited. We're going to onboard some creators, by the way, after we're going to, reach out to frogs and foxes and other creators on the Lydia network after they have their space running up, the Neil Stevenson space.
Yeah.
So creators look out for that later. But let's get into Artifact. Joe, our producer here, I just sent you the video that you guys released 5 hours ago. I don't know if Joe, you're able to
The trailer,
pull
yeah.
that up.
Yeah, that'd be
It's
great.
so intense. Eric, can you
No,
open the link?
it's dystopian. We said we weren't going to do this, but
It's so good.
stakes are high. Stakes are high.
Stakes
All
are high.
right. Here we go. Maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
Full screen it.
Continue
Give
full
us a full screen.
Oh,
Wait, we gotta have the music, so it's like do 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 do.
Okay.
Can we share the music?
I don't
Maybe
know.
Well, that was a fast forward to the end there, but
Yeah. Neil Stevenson. I can just narrate it.
If you go to the landing page, you could check it out in full glory.
Full glory. Yeah, it's okay. While this is going on,
you want me to set the table?
Yeah, set the
Okay.
table. Yeah. Give us like a
Okay.
narration.
So the game takes place in kind of this fractured world after a thing called the spike. And the spike is kind of like a fizzled singularity. And it's this time when like large AI systems fought one another, centralized AI systems fought one another, and they kind of destroyed, these human institutions, and they basically restructured civilization around themselves and their needs, right? This sort of competitive structure between what we call the bigs. And in the aftermath of that, these human societies begin to kind of reorganize into decentralized cultures that we call files. So these artifacts, which is the name of the experience and kind of how you enter the experience, which I believe Linea and Lamina token holders get an advantage there. So that's exciting too. But these artifacts emerge basically as kind of like digital constructs that allow humans to really self-organize and communicate and then act, coordinate with one another despite the collapse of the internet. So these artifacts are like audiovisual kind of front ends to like inference engines, and they're trained and they're maintained by each file group in these kind of specialized facilities. So the setup of the game is kind of, it takes place in this world where centralized AI systems have kind of dominated. They've set up shop in geographic locations that serve them in different ways, whether it's water or copper or some of the things that the core sort of power sources that AI needs to run. And you come into the experience. It starts by you minting an artifact. You're going to get an artifact. It's one of a few, and then that artifact and this sort of, there's the gamification goes from there. You basically need to decrypt it, and then you become part of a tribe. And those tribes orient themselves either in opposition or in coordination with these sort of AIs. And so I think the end is not written. That was one of the things we talked about with Joe on stage. And when we met with Joe at ETH Denver, Neil and I, was that January or February? He was like, is the end written? Did the centralized AIs win? And we're like,
did they win?
Like, absolutely not. That's the whole point of like these artifacts emerging, is they provide this kind of new blueprint for humanity to kind of take back control and determine the role that we want AI to play in serving us.
Rika, I just want to know, how did this happen? Like, did you just like meet Neil at a party and you're like, hey, I know you're like really into Web3 and like,
that's not the
you do this thing.
He's like,
that sounds cool. How did that even happen?
Yeah, so I ran the studios at Magic Leap for 4 years. I don't know. Do you guys know Magic Leap? They're like
I remember it well. Yeah.
Yeah, like a notorious augmented reality company that raised $4.5 billion pre-revenue to build like a full operating system, headset, content, all of it from the ground up. And this was in like 2014. We released in 2018. But there were about we were big believers that like you can build a lot of great tech, and there's a lot of tech people that love to build tech for creative industries, but they don't actually have the passion for content or creative. And we always say the true test of whether tech is working or not is whether it can support the creative, you know, and pay it off. So Neil had, he was a chief futurist at Magic Leap, and he was one of the studios under Magic Leap that was making experimental content for the AI headset. And so I was kind of overseeing a lot of those groups and running kind of strategic partnerships and figuring out how to match concepts with developers and get those stories to market. And so Neil and I worked really closely together there. And actually, there's a couple other people on the team that I've worked with previously as well, all at this kind of intersection of emerging tech and storytelling. And so Neil and I had the chance to really build a relationship there for a long time. And then Magic Leap ended up running out of money and ended up pivoting towards enterprise. And I stuck around to deliver the redesign of the operating system, but Neil kind of went his separate way. And fast forward about 2 years, I was running content and technical partnerships at MSG Sphere. And Neil gave me a ring and said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this thing. I've met some people from blockchain, and we kind of always knew that there was, when you think about how grand the vision of like the metaverse is, right? And we're engaging with it every day, but it's like an ever developing, ever evolving thing. There was like a missing piece of it around privacy and security and currency and ownership, right? And so as blockchain matured, he was approached by some people and he called me and said, hey, do you want to do this thing with me? And it took me a little while. Yeah, like I read the white paper. I had to like dig really deep and be like, why is this critical for what I want to do?
Yeah.
And then we did it. And the way that Artifact ended up coming up is that the motivation for this whole team and building this out really was truly to change the way that content is made, right? Because we're all fighting for oxygen, someone to grant us permission to share our creative ideas, especially if they have some sort of scale. So we said, you know, we were really scrappy. We didn't raise a lot of money like some of the others who were kind of in the same space. We had to be really focused, but we knew we had Neil, but we couldn't really tap into Neil and Weta and some of these creative powerhouses that we were really close with until we had a really stable system and sort of a framework for like, how could we build something together? So once that was ready, I said to Neil, I'm like, just give us a nugget, like a seed of a new story world, and we'll run with it. Like, we know how to do concept, we'll run with it. And he was working on Polistan at the time. And then once Polistan published, he really dove in, and then it was like it exploded. Like, there was just this holy shit, like, this is big and it's relevant, timely. And we got Weta involved because, you know, Weta is Lord of the Rings, Avatar, like that. I mean, their history is so big, and they know how to create.
Crazy. You're working with
so many heavy hitters.
The company that did Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, listen, at Magic Leap, I will say this for Magic Leap, there's a lot of us that stuck together from that experience. It was really intense, but we worked with Steven Spielberg and Peter Jackson and, you know, people like Neil, people like Richard Taylor who founded Weta. And we really had like, it was an incredible
crew
of insane engineers plus like artists, the people who drew the scene where Spider-Man died. You know, like you were just like, how is this all in the same meeting every day? So it broke all the rules about what we thought we could do with content, and I think that was the start of something pretty special for all of us.
And adding Joe Lubin to the cast of collaborators isn't too shabby either.
No, I mean, listen, as an investor, he's been wonderful. So he was one of the early investors in the project. A lot of tough love, and I really appreciate it. I was new to crypto. It is a scary thing to be new to, especially in 2022. And setting up a company in the US during that regulatory environment where to do what we wanted to do with as big of a vision as we had, and trying to figure out the protocol, and then managing two very different audiences, right? Like you have the crypto crowd who often looks for really kind of immediate returns or speculative value, and there's pressure on that side. And then you have the people who are following Neil, who are looking to us to develop IP and product and platform. And they have very different timelines and very different expectations. And then we went right into a bear market. like I was in this industry for, I think, less than 6 months when FTX and SVB and that whole sort of thing happened, and there was all the money dried up for metaverse, for crypto.
Welcome to crypto.
Yeah. So Joe has been throughout the whole process just a very steady hand, which I very much appreciate. And he's given me the hard truth and tough love when I needed it, but a great source of wisdom. And then as the project matured and he watched us pivot and survive and be really scrappy and then deliver, it was time. Knowing he's a huge Neil fan, which I did not know the extent of it until I sat down. Neil and I sat down with him in East Denver. Was like, it's high time. Like, it's time.
Yeah.
Avalanche, we love their tech. They were right at the moment. ETH costs, like gas costs, were really high. It didn't make sense for really small transactions. This was like in 2022. Sure. It wasn't the right fit. Yeah. But with the roll-ups like maturing and speed and costs remaining really low, it was like, okay, now we have the ability to come into the ETH ecosystem where we always, wanted to be, obviously, and then actually do the thing that we wanted to do, and with a scale and with distribution and a community that could really support the vision, like long term, right? Because if you can't change the economics for creators with scale, then
right,
you can build a great product, but if you can't help them make money, it's pointless, right?
That's the point. Wow. Okay. This is amazing. I know we only have just a couple minutes left. So this is an AI-based game. You saw the preview. You can go to the Lamina1 official website or the Twitter account. So Lamina1 official is your Twitter handle. Yeah. Last thing, if you want to get access to Neil's space, how do you do that? Is there like a QR code we can provide? I know, like, if you have Linea, that might. Yeah,
I think there's one at the end of the video. That's right. And I know that so basically between the 15th and the 31st, if you sign up there, you'll see on a daily basis there are new lore drops from Neil and sort of behind the scenes content.
Yes,
some of the sort of concepting around the world. So we're really like running a tight ramp to get you into the story world between the 15th and the 31st, and then Spaces and Artifacts will debut after that, shortly after that, and then the initial mint. So, I will say this: it's not an AI-driven experience. So I just want to make that clear. It's like we're using all the tools, we're using human creativity, and we're using AI to enhance it. But yeah, get that QR code, go to the landing page, sign up, and also if you're a creator and you think you have a great idea for Spaces, hit us up because we also have creator grants as well.
Ooh, everyone loves a creator grant.
I know.
Well, amazing. I'm like so happy. Like, after I talked to you, I talked to one of your team members and I got so excited. Ryan from Lamina1, shout out to Ryan. I like, he walked me through the game for like 3 hours, and by the end I got off and I was like, oh my God, this is happening on Linea. Because I was like, it was like Weta and it was like Neil, and I was like, he was like showing me all the storytelling, and that's what we're, like you said, you're going to be releasing. So if you're really interested in the story and the art, we'll get some like behind the scenes storytelling, which should get you really excited about what's to come. So we will be retweeting all of those things for you so everyone can stay excited. Excited is our word of the day.
I can say one last thing. Like, we are really, really happy to be part of the ecosystem. And part of the reason why we came here is because of the strength of this ecosystem and the diversity of it. So if you guys have ideas about how you can integrate, like, we need all the things right now, right? Like, we're looking for all the different ways we can integrate and cool DeFi ideas. Maybe you fund the decentralized AI rival. I don't know, but let's figure it out. And so hit us up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ethereum is where your people are. I promise.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
We're super happy to be here. Thank you for having me again.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for coming. I'm feeling super bullish about this. Everyone else should be. Thanks, Rebecca. Thank you for coming and stealing someone else's office to be here.
All right, dude. That is so awesome.
So cool. Lord of the Rings, like the company that created like all the visuals behind Lord of the Rings is like pairing up with a sci-fi like epic writer to create a game that's only going to be on Linea. Guys,
it is kind of the ultimate murderer's row. This collaboration, all the people involved. Yeah, check it out. Very excited for the launch and much more to come later this month. So awesome.
Today our word of the day is excited.
Yeah, it's
think
it's
we've
all we
said
got.
like 50.
Tomorrow
That's all we
tomorrow the word of the day is thesaurus to
got.
do a little better next time, at least for me. Dude, this is great. Can't wait until next week. We'll have
Yes.
more on the SomEThing podcast, and we will definitely have more on Lamina1 in weeks
We're
to
gonna
come as
have,
well.
I think in like 2 weeks, if she mentioned the 31st is around. I mean, it's crypto. Dates are subject to change. It's actually Neil Stephenson's birthday on Halloween.
Oh, are you kidding?
Spooky.
Wow,
It is
amazing. Some things just
legendary,
fit.
right?
Awesome.
So on brand for him. So I think we might have a special live stream dedicated just to like showing the game and having someone from Weta on, having Neil Stephenson himself on.
Wow.
So again, if you're like a huge sci-fi fan, pick up Snow Crash. That's like his first book, but he just came out with a new book as well. So yeah, he's Neil Stephenson's gonna be on our podcast. Like so cool. I was like,
Excited.
I've made it, Mom.
All right, well, everyone, that's it for today. We're over time, but it was worth it. Stay on
Worth
chain
it.
and stay excited. See you
Stay
soon.
excited. See
Thanks,
ya. Bye.
Joe.
Thanks, Joe.